What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Tuffy Talk Live Show. You got myself, Wayne Smith. You got Carson and Greg DeLay joining again from Puerto Rico. What's up, Mr. Greg?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Dude, man, you sound so muffled, man. It's like
Is
it's
it
like it's like
bad?
well, no, it's like Greg DeLay after dark. Like it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
I'm in the middle of a
anyway,
3-hour flight delay, so what do you want from me?
I I want perfection, Greg. Professional at all times. Okay.
That was NC
Yeah.
State baseball this weekend.
Well, do we really
We'll
want
get
to
into
do?
it.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
say,
go.
like, does anybody really want to hear about that? I don't know, man. Like,
It's
come
one of
on,
the few
dude.
sports that won this past weekend.
That's true. Well, hey, yeah, that's true. 1-2-0 for sure. So anyway, though, you got myself, Carson, Greg. Make sure if you're been with us before, you know the drill. But if you haven't, make sure to put any questions, comments, thoughts, especially about this UNC game here in the chat. And let's get to them here today. And specifically, one question I'm curious as well is, how's everybody feeling about this rivalry right now? I feel like that. I don't know about y'all, but definitely from both sides of the court here, the rivalry is definitely, you're definitely going into this game with a different feel to it than I think you would have a week ago, for sure. A week ago, NC State was going on a 6-game win streak. Caleb Wilson and Visar were healthy. And now you're limping into this game after two unacceptable losses, which we'll talk a little bit about. And Caleb Wilson's going to be out for this game, and Visar has been dealing with some illness. So, Carson, I'll start with you first, man. How are you feeling about this matchup here tomorrow night, right now, in terms of from an excitement standpoint, in terms of from a meaningful standpoint?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's exciting. Definitely a meaningful game. I'm glad that it's mid-February and State and Carolina are playing each other, and the game has so many implications on not only the NCAA tournament but for ACC standings as well. I mean, this could go a long way in deciding who could be a top 4 seed in the ACC tournament.
Yeah. Um, and Yeah, and keep in mind too as well. I mean, obviously, what I'm saying is every single game versus every single match for UNC matters. So definitely that's not the point. Of more saying that I feel like it's kind of lost a little bit of luster compared to where it was a week ago. So, Greg, give us your thoughts here, man. Your feelings heading into this game tomorrow night.
Oh, I hate to use the term must win, but it feels like a must win after the last two games. I don't care if Carolina's limping into this thing. It's still Carolina, no excuses. Um, Up, there's a line. I think it's like 7.5 points now.
Mhm.
That's
And then,
terrifying.
yeah, it is. Um, but yeah, I think we have to win.
Oh yeah. No, I think honestly at this point the pressure is 100% on us. With after these two performances that we've seen from NC State, you're much healthier than UNC. You're playing at home. Uh, Listen, you need this. This is a layup of an opportunity here. To get a solid win from a resume perspective. Added to it, and so I guess keep in mind as well is that yes, definitely I think UNC from a quality win perspective, I think is going to take a little bit of a hit with how with Caleb Wilson being out. I mean, we'll see, how things go. Definitely wish all the best. And, for Caleb Wilson as well. Don't want anybody to be injured. And then they also too don't want any excuses. Don't want any asterisks on this game. I want to beat UNC at 100%. No doubt about it. Now at the end of the day, we can't control if Caleb Wilson plays or not. So if he doesn't play, then guess what? You just got to play with the cards that are dealt to you and go out there and get this win. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit here. Obviously, rough week for sure for NC State men's basketball here, getting demolished by 40 points versus Louisville, and then blowing in the worst way possible a game that you were up by 6 with under a minute left and scored 0
7.
points. And sorry, you're up by 7 with under a minute left, and didn't score a single point. Had 2 turnovers, and there was just mistakes left and right, left and right. Like to be honest, Carson, I never thought I'd see in 1 week 2 unacceptable, embarrassing losses in completely different ways. Like they could not have been more opposite, but yet they were both completely 100% in the unacceptable and embarrassing category.
Yeah. I think the more embarrassing one was the Miami game. Louisville, we didn't match up on paper very good with them from the start. And Miami, that was at home, and we had the lead. And the result of that game can solely be defined by how focused our players were in the last minute, because they clearly were not focused at all.
No, Greg, your thoughts here?
I blame some of that on the coaching too. Like when you already had the first
Absolutely.
turnover, there should have been a timeout and said, "Hey, look, this is how we're going to beat this trap."
Hmm.
And then the other part of that being was just not making free throws when they mattered,
Yep.
and you gave them a chance to kind of hang around, stick around, and then when those things happen, you know, sometimes bad things happen, and that's exactly what went down on Saturday. But yeah,
Yep.
you live and learn, and this is kind of the team that we kind of are expecting. It just feels like a Jekyll and Hyde team. When we play well, we can compete with anybody, but when we don't, it's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, once again with Whittier Copeland missing key clutch free throws opportunities. Darian Williams, for some reason, throwing the ball to Trey Holloman in a worst case scenario. Uh, not being able to rebound the ball. Miami absolutely
Twice,
dominating on. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got caught in the corner twice.
right, 2 different times, which again, it's like, guys, like, you guys have played enough basketball, you played enough college basketball, no, that is the last place you ever wanna be, and then they're talking to Trey like, "Well, you should have done this," like, what's he supposed to do? Like, the only thing I would have said is call timeout, call timeout,
Yeah.
like,
We had
that's the
2
only thing I could
timeouts.
have really
We
said.
had 2 we left 2 timeouts on the floor.
Yeah, no. So now the last question which I want to ask, because obviously, again, all of that was just disgusting. But the one question which I do want to ask as well is because there was some talk about it about the last play, with Matt Abel throwing up the prayer, half court shot there. I mean, I don't know about you, Carson, but I feel like you would have liked to have called a timeout there at half court just to give yourself an option to even just throw the ball to the hoop and get a tip in or something like that. Something rather than just a full on running half court, 3-point shot to try and win. But I don't know. Well, do you have a different opinion on that, Carson?
Yeah, I would have called timeout at midcourt, because
Yeah.
this isn't women's basketball. This is an NBA. You can't advance it, and
Mhm.
so I think that timeout would have been necessary. At least it would have at least given you that, like, 1.6 to
Even
at
less than
least
that. Even if you
draw
get one
something up.
second,
Yeah,
just something where you could just touch Lubin's hand and go in. Something, give you
Or
just a
or
better chance. Go ahead, Greg.
or give yourself, a Paul McNeil, pop and shot. I know you didn't need three there, but
Hmm.
maybe he gets fouled there. Just
Right.
something like,
Hmm.
anything would have been better than a heave. But again, it just was a poorly ran last minute or so of the game, and
Hmm.
it was like, okay. And can we talk about the foul? Like, it didn't look like a
I was
foul.
literally gonna ask you next. Did you
Yeah,
think it was a foul?
it looked clean. I mean, I know he got balled and got hand, but I think if you get balled in hand, it should be a good block. But
yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the fact that the refs called it right then and there. More
Yeah.
times than not, unless it's blatant, they're gonna let it go. And we just didn't get that home. We didn't get the home court call at all. And again,
Yeah.
I hate putting it in that position. We should have never have gotten to that point. But it's still a part of the game, and you still kind of got to talk about it.
Well, in Carson, I mean, like, because my thought, and this is a little bit of a hindsight 2020 take here, but I would have liked, if Darian didn't give the ref the opportunity to make that call, then they forced the Miami guy to make that shot. But I get that's a little bit of a hindsight 2020. Then dude was wide open. Darian was just trying to make a play. I get that too. But I just hated the fact that they had an opportunity to win the game and at least tie the game on free throws, and so I don't know, like, and so that honestly, the more I talk about, the more I'm like, I can't really blame
and
Darian too much
we
on
didn't
it
even
here.
call timeout. We didn't even call timeout at that point to try to make him think about it.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. But again, also too, gotta say once again, another absolute defensive just blowout, just completely left the guy completely wide open on the last play of the game. It's just like, guys, like, so it's just it's frustrating to say the least here. But I don't know. I mean, Greg, I mean, like, any final thoughts, comments here to kind of wrap this up and just put in concrete, put in a big box, and just throw it down into the depths of the ocean and just get rid of these two
Yeah.
games.
The other thing I was kind of confused about was, and again, I was in and out of service, so maybe they explained it in the broadcast and I just missed it. But when Darion kicked the guy during the jump ball, and then after it was all sorted out, like there was still a jump ball, right? Like they still
Right.
called the jump, but we never got the ball for the jump because of the technical fouls. Like I don't understand how that whole thing played out. And again, maybe there's a rule and someone knows about it, but I've would have figured since it was dead ball, it still should have been our ball. But again, didn't matter at this point. It's over.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know, one of those it's let's put it this way, like, it's one of those things, Greg, and for me, I know we feel the same exact way, is that, questions like that for sure would have been great questions to ask if it was a back and forth game and Miami just guyed out. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't like honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But also too, I'm like, oh, it's like, who cares? Then day we blew it. It was
Correct.
100% that would have been a great question to ask, and honestly something I would have done more research on if it was a close if it was a close finish, but it wasn't. We should have handled it. Simple as that.
No,
So
and agreed, and agreed. I'm
yeah.
not blaming the game on that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
possession.
No,
Like it just
100%. Just like
it
what
was just one of
happened. I'm
those. Is like,
curious.
yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah,
Yep.
because they never explained it during the
Same.
broadcast, from what I understood.
Nope, me too. Yeah, me
The
too. And so
rebounding was awful.
rebound was awful. Again, so listen, like, it's the one thing we're not going to do here is make season wide conclusions in heat of the moment times, like just like we talked about, like, last week, after beating SMU and all that, you could, make conclusions there, but we're not going to do that. We're going to let the season play out here and, see what happens from there. So, got to take care of business one game at a time here. There's still plenty of opportunities here to make some noise here for the NCAA tournament, for getting top four seeding. It's listen, Miami's just on a stretch right now. And, this per Greg, mid-tier, ACC team here, coming off of two big wins at Carolina, or sorry, against Carolina, and then at NC State. So,
But you
uh,
could argue they should have lost both of those,
well, I
but they
mean,
didn't.
yeah,
But they didn't.
right. Well,
But they didn't.
right. Well, yeah, because for the Miami game, they lost Caleb Wilson. Is that what you mean?
Right.
That
I
UNC
mean
lost
that.
Caleb Wilson? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean they lost to Florida State, who we blew out by 40. I mean,
Yep.
look, give them credit. Like they did win the games,
Yep.
but I'm still not like sold on what they are. Um,
Sure.
I, I will say that their big guy, how he gets no fouls in a game is impossible to even dream about. But again, I'm not gonna go. I think actually no, I think he got one foul in like the last minute of the game or last
Yep.
maybe 2 minutes of the game.
Yep.
And again, I'm not putting it on refs. It's look, we didn't get
Nope.
it done.
Yep.
Pure and simple.
Now, the one thing which I also too found funny as well as NC State fans sharing around a video of the Miami guys going, to waving at the fans goodbye or whatever after the game, and I'm sitting here like, I don't have a problem with that. Good, hey, good in terms of fact of, hey, you won the game. Guess what? Like, if we didn't want that to happen, win the game. Like, it's like, just like with the planting of the flag in midfield, like, hey, guess what? If you don't like it, then win the game, and then it doesn't happen. Or Cam Newton dabbing. At the end of the day, if you don't want Cam Newton to dab when he scores a touchdown, don't let him get in the end zone. It's that simple. So I don't have a problem with it. Whatever, you won the game. I hate that you won. I hate that you won the game. I hate how y'all won the game. But at the end of the day, guess what? Y'all won the game. So
No,
um,
student section stepped
but,
up.
finally, yeah, no, there we go. Now, unfortunately, the student stepped up, didn't meet a positive performance from the team, but you hope that here tomorrow night that those two things can meet, and what I think could definitely be a possibility of being a comfortable win. It like a comfortable win is well within the possibilities of this game tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Well within the realm.
I tried to get an Indiana chant directed at the Miami fans, but pretty much it was only my section.
Ooh, well, hey, that's a clever one, Carson. I'll give you that. Now, Rusty asking the question: thoughts about Will Wade's comments about how the team has no identity right now. Greg, I'll let you start on that first. And, do you think that it's a fair comment, or you think it's a heat of the moment comment?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to the matter. He wouldn't say it if he didn't think it and felt that way. I will say that, look, I know we got some pretty good players through the portal, but it was also done pretty quickly. And so, his pool was limited to maybe what he would have naturally gone after. Um, it's not a bad roster construct. I mean, there's definitely
No.
holes as we've seen as this season's gone on. The obvious one being probably the five. Though
Mhm.
Lubin has done great, but he's not a. I wouldn't say he's a natural five. He's more of a power forward type. And it's shown on the rebounding side of the house where giving teams extra, second and third opportunities kind of hurts you. But I mean, from an offensive standpoint, I think it's a pretty good roster. It's more about the defense and switching and all those type of things for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Carson, any additional thoughts on that regarding team's identity? Because I mean, honestly, too, because once again, 2 weeks ago after the Wake Forest game, one of the things that I think that we all were agreeing on was how well this team was doing at understanding and accepting their role. And so, I don't know. I get it for sure. I mean, like he's fair to think it, and I see why he thinks it. What I'm also sitting here saying as well is, I think there's definitely a little bit of heat in the moment, comment there to that.
Yeah, I would say it's probably more heat at the moment. And the key word he said was right now. He didn't say throughout the whole
Mm,
season. He said right now. And
That's a good point.
so maybe there's something going on that we don't know about. But I think the right now is I think that's something that's not meant to be overlooked.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I mean, and it's again, the rubber's going to meet the road here real quick within 24 hours. The rubber is going to meet the road here for sure. And like I wouldn't say the season could break tomorrow, but it could get ugly quick for sure. And whether it's fair or not, at the end of the day, just reading the room here, and here's the thing too, Greg, as well, is again, there's it's all I always like to bring it back to earth a little bit and talk about expectations, and obviously with any fan, expectations are not going to be level, from what they were preseason throughout the season. They're going to go up and down depending on our as the team progresses and shows more of what they're capable of. So, you know, like, do you think that there could enter a possibility of, very quickly of, exceedingly underperforming expectations? Or do you think that even still with where the season is, that the team is exceeding or meeting expectations right now?
Yeah, I think we're at expectation. I mean, when Will Wade
Yeah.
came in, he said we're going to compete for a top four, which we're still competing for a top four.
Yep.
We'll find that out real quick in the next 2 weeks if that comes to fruition. Still on schedule right now, as of right now, to make the NCAA tournament, which is something we
Yeah.
didn't do last year. And when a coach comes in his first year to make the tournament, I think that's a big deal, especially the way how last season was. I think we're right where we kind of need to be. I think
Yep.
again, people are frustrated because you've blown a couple. You lost to Georgia Tech where you shouldn't. You ultimate collapse on Saturday down, letting up a 7 point lead. So for there, I think folks are going to be upset and rightfully so.
Yeah. No. Well, because here we are once again versus Carolina. You should win this game opportunity. You should win this game. And also too, I mean, with Van Al Lubin playing as well, is honestly again, I got to bring it also back to as well down to earth of saying, I mean, yes, I get it. Quadir Copeland's had a insane year in terms of value and insane year in terms of production, but also Van Al Lubin low key is right up there in terms of if you were talking about team MVP. Van Lubin's up there for sure in terms of what he's giving you consistently game after game. In terms of, I mean, really exceeding expectations from a rebounding and from a point standpoint. I mean, even against Miami, even though yes, rebounding was a struggle, as a team, he still gave you 17 points, 9 rebounds. Not a bad stat line to say the least for sure. But here we are, like that how much this game is going to mean to him. How big this game is for him. I mean, in terms of, I mean, just making Hubert Davis and this UNC staff and fans eat it. Like, so I don't know. Like, what's your expectations for this game, Carson, for Van Lubin?
Yeah, I think he's gonna come out
30 points, 15 rebounds.
Maybe something like that. I think he's gonna come out aggressive on the offensive glass. I think we saw Miami. He tried to dunk it like 3 or 4 times, something like that. I think we're gonna see the same thing against UNC, maybe a little more.
Yeah. Greg, additional thoughts for Van Lubin career night incoming?
Yeah, I think he's going to play his ass off. Especially all the hate. And I don't think he's much of a social media guy anyway. But anytime you face your former team, you're going to have a little bit more juice in your game. And then especially if they're shorthanded, especially down low, that gives him some opportunity to really exceed and excel in this matchup.
Yeah. No. Well, because the big question for me is what happens with Visar, and he is a guy that came up really late on the injury report for the Pitt game, and come to find out, at least a report saying he was dealing with a little bit of an injury. I'm sorry, a little bit of illness. I apologize. And then potentially a slight left ankle or an ankle injury as well. But it seems like it's more of the illness, honestly, that is what took him out. So, but he's still listed for this game as questionable, and I think I think let's put it this way, even with or without Visar, I think Van Lubin matches up really well against Visar. I think it's going to be a very interesting challenge for sure. And I think that's honestly 2 centers, because here's the other thing as well to keep in mind is that not only is Lubin making a point to UNC that, you let me go too easily, but also too, Visar's has to prove the point of saying you made the right choice by moving on from Van Lubin to go get me and pay the money to get me. So like those 2 guys are going to be the key. Like in my opinion, those 2 guys are the keys to the game.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that matchup is going to have their team in a phenomenal situation to win that game.
I think another player that's gonna play really hard is Kadir Copeland. And here's why I say this. I think on defense, he is going to do his best to try to get in Seth Trimble's head.
I like that. Well, and because it's so funny too. I think I heard somebody else say it too as well. But of course, the year that we have a guy that's a smack talker like Kadir Copeland, and we don't play UNC or Duke, on the road, like both games being at stake, is man, if that game, if we played Carolina this year at the Dean Dome, that man Quadir would be lighting the fans up, man. Oh, it would have been so much fun. Either
he
way.
was doing it to Clemson.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Did it to Pitt.
Yep, and it would have been 10 times worse if it was at Carolina or at Duke. You knew it would have been 10 times worse. So
yeah, that would be a 2-way street for sure.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. So, but yeah, no, again, and also too, Carson, he's come off of 2 limpish games. I mean, he had 3 assists versus Louisville, 5 assists versus Miami. It's like, I think this is, hey, as annoying and as frustrating as it is to say, the only hope of all this for sure is that all of this, downturn is going to produce a big up. That's the hope. Now at the end of the day, I still think that, you could have beaten Miami and still had that huge upswing for UNC, but I guess it's just, having that positive mentality a little bit more, say, all right, let's do this thing then. So
I will say if those 2 players are out for UNC and we don't come out and win, I think it might get ugly quick from the fan base.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily. Because
And that's what we don't want.
No, it's like in Keats's third or fourth year where Carolina didn't have a good record and Cole Anthony wasn't playing, and then they just came to PNC and absolutely rocked us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, I mean, and you're sitting here again. NC State right now is projected as 7.5 point favorite. It was actually opened at 5.5,
It's
so it's
grown.
already, yeah, so it's actually grown to 7.5. And probably a lot of that's around these VSAR questionable, and because even too as well, even if he comes back, is he 100%? Who knows? And but I mean, I truly feel that if VSAR can play, they're going to play him because they know that if if they truly want a good shot at winning, that VSAR's got to be in. Now, keep in mind, just like Carson and Greg said, at the end of the day, if both of them don't play, I'm still not feeling really good because then it's a rivalry game. It's 0-0. It doesn't matter. It's anybody can win that game. And holy smokes, yes, if both guys do not play and we lose, UNC fans will never let us hear the end of it. And we only would have ourselves to blame. So, but anyway, again, we're gonna keep a positive spin here for sure. I think we're feeling good about it, even if Esar does play, and even if Caleb Wilson had played, I still would feel good about this game. Now, I mean, it'd be a little bit more of a 50-50, but you know, still feel good. So let's wrap it up with this. Greg, give me a score prediction here, or do you have a feel for a score here? High scoring, low scoring, comfortable win?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be like um, mid to upper 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think State's going to get the message. I don't think, we haven't talked about this as Will Wade's first UNC game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he's got a lot of family that's from UNC graduates, and so that's interesting. I think I'm 95% sure his wife graduated from UNC, if
Correct.
I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
So that this will be interesting for him, and I
Mhm.
know he wants to get off on the right foot with the triangle um, rivalry. So
Yep.
I think all of that said, I think State will win. I think State covers. I want to go out on a limb and say we win by double digits.
Mhm. Yeah. Carson, thoughts? Prediction?
Yeah, I think State wins a tight game. Um, I'm gonna go 74-70 State.
Okay. All right. See, I'm gonna go a little bit more high scoring here. I think Paul McNeil's due for another big game again. I think Van Allen Lubin gives you 20 plus points easily, plus 10 plus rebounds. I think it's gonna be a big game for him. I'm gonna go more like 87-72. I'm gonna go a 15-point win, a little bit
Oh
more on the
wow.
higher scoring side. Yeah, I think UNC does a good job of keeping it close, but I think at the end of the day we stretch it out and we ride the energy within PNC Arena, which is sold out, and get this thing done. Now, Greg, the one question I do want to ask you for sure, because I know you have a little bit more experience with this, but is
I
there
feel like
anything
you're
we
about to
can do?
call me old.
No, nope, nope, nope. Just with the experience you have of dealing with tickets and Wolfpack Club and everything like that.
Mm.
Is there anything we can do at all about big the corporate ticket purchases and like I like what do we need to do to see every single seat in at least a lower dome or at least a lower bowl be filled
Yeah.
for a game,
Y-
man? It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
So I think next year you're going to see some changes. Typically,
I
what
hope so.
happens? Well, I know. So there will be significant changes next year when they add those new seats to the arena.
Mhm.
And when they add new seats or take seats away, they have to redo all of the seating for everybody. Um, and maybe things will look better.
I hope so.
So that's the key. I do know that much that they will have to. Everyone has to relook it because I know the section that my uncle sits in, section 130, is completely going away. There will be no one section 130 anymore. So obviously those people will have to be displaced somewhere. Um, but I don't know what that's going to look like. But I know there will be changes.
Yeah. And because I mean, again, Carson, I mean, I think every single game that there's at least a couple NC State tweets that go out there about a few, empty sections at the game. And because the unfortunate thing is that, like, at least in football, the fact that you have bleachers means that you kind of have a little bit more flexibility of where your technical seat is. So then day, if you don't have as many people in your row, you'll give yourself a little bit more room to fill out the row a little bit. But since you have seats, you have a seat. That's where you stand, that's where you are. And so unless you plan on standing the whole game, you're not really going to be able to move and fully fill that space as much. So, it's an unfortunate drawback, but I'm sure, with how interactive and how social media heavy this basketball staff is, they see it, they notice it, and they know that if we truly want ultimate NC State environment, that
Court advantage is what you're looking for.
yeah, that I mean it's a topic that has to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to prioritize filling in that lower bowl. I mean,
Yes.
at the Miami game, I saw several empty seats in the lower bowl, but people were sitting in the higher one. I'm like, why aren't they sitting down below?
Yep.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Charlotte FC, the soccer team, they play in Bank of America. There are times where they don't sell any seats in the upper section.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously is a little bit, but I mean, I get what you're saying for sure. I mean, like, the hope is that every single seat, in PNC Arena, especially for these HC matchups, you know, every seat should be filled. Like, that's the hope, and that's where we should be. And we are close to that for sure. But the problem that you're having is you have these corporate, businesses that buy 10 seats to give away to staff members, and sometimes the tickets are fulfilled, sometimes they're not, sometimes the staff, people they give them to show up, sometimes they don't, because some of these staff members are not even fans of NC State or the team that they're playing against. So sometimes they'll claim them and just say, you know what, I'm just not going to go, kind of deal. So it's just
That was
frustrating.
always yeah, that was always the problem with the whole lifetime right seats thing that the Wolfpack Club did many years ago, and they have since done away with, because for that very reason. It was good. It was a good short term investment that injected money into the program when you probably needed it. Long
Mhm.
term wise, though, it's not as good. Um,
Oh,
Greg, you good?
yep, sorry, Greg, you got muted, bud. Yeah, all
okay,
good.
great.
Up, now you're good. You're back, or you were muted, or now you're
No,
muted.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I made the point. I just said, now that they've made the new changes, I don't know what fight you call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's gonna filter. It's gonna get right again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives the Wolfpack Club an opportunity now, an excuse, to reevaluate. If it just like we were saying too, like if there wasn't really sea change, then the Wolfpack Club would probably have to be really creative. But honestly, this is just a layup of an opportunity to reevaluate all that stuff. So, something to think about here for sure for the offseason for the Wolfpack Club, and I'm sure it's something that's being mentioned and noted for sure. With that being said, here I do want to jump on over here. Is first of all, obviously Greg is been in Puerto Rico with the crew, watching some and enjoying some NC State baseball to open up the season. First of all, Greg, I do got to ask you, did you chat GPT that speech, man, or that toast?
I did, but I directed it a little bit. Look,
I love
Mark Scott, who when his son was with the program, he always had good toes, and he did his old school.
Oh,
I like to cheat or use technology, not cheat. Use
there
technology
you go.
to help me. Yeah,
Be
Yeah,
resourceful.
resourceful. There you go. There you go.
resourceful. I like it.
Yeah. I love the honesty. That's good. Yeah, and yeah, some of the rhymes in there that some of the haters love to point out for sure. Hey, whatever. Like, and hey, you took care of business in the chat, Greg. So so
Yeah,
so all's
whatever.
good there. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and all the trolls come with the same nonsense, and so lack of originality, and I whatever.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely. Now, actually too, Greg, because I know Carson can only hang out here with us for a little bit. So I do want to hit on one topic here before we jump fully over to baseball here. I want to talk some women's basketball here a little bit because I'm sure Carson, you definitely have some thoughts here. Uh, again, frustration in a different realm as well. The epitome of inconsistency, which is women's basketball, NC State women's basketball this year. So many amazing highs for sure, but then so many lows. NC State going to South Bend and losing Notre Dame 79-67, but let's be real, that game was not a 12-point game. It was a 40-point game. It was just absolutely frustrating to say the least here. So Carson, before Greg and I give our thoughts, which are definitely probably going to be very transparent, what's your initial thoughts here looking at this loss here, and what this means for the season, how much equity do we put into this loss, things like that.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think it kills us with regards to making the tournament. I think if we take care of business where we should, we'll definitely make the tournament, but we're definitely not gonna host. We're not. I don't think we're gonna be a top. I don't think we can be a top 4 seed in the ACC. And man, that was just a bad game. I was only able to watch the fourth quarter, but I mean, looking at
Why did you join then? It was already over.
Yeah, yeah, that was
I had
ultimate pain. That was just pure pain.
No, I was at a meeting, and then we got New York Pizza afterwards, and they had the game on. So we're like, "Whoa, what the heck is going on here?"
Wow.
But if you look at the ESPN stats, Notre Dame had 30 points in the second quarter.
hmm Listen, I mean, really, for me, and Greg, I will get your thoughts on this here. I mean, first of all, looking at the box score, Zamari Jones had 21 points, but she shot 20 shots. She was 1 for 8 from three. So I don't really give much credit really to that. At the end of the day, volume, I think, drove 90% of that 21 points. But Tilda had 2 points, 1 for 3 field goals, 3 rebounds. Like honestly, for me, like I'm just looking at the rest of the season, I'm like, can we just like we've talked about it so much, but let's just scrap what we're doing. Let's just not go guard heavy. Let's run the offense through Tilda, for a few games, and let's see how that goes. Like again, we've talked about it with Westmore, how he loved to run the offense through Lisa Kuname, but for some reason has not bought into potentially doing that through Tilda. Hasn't even give that a chance. And I'm sitting here like a player as good as Tilda has been and is to only shoot 3 shots and have 2 points, 3 rebounds is just that's one like if it's that bad of a game, I'm sitting and she was that lackluster involved. I can't help but draw that conclusion a little bit, saying, could that make a difference? Finally, could that help us? I don't know, just find some consistency somewhere.
She only played 27 minutes, and she had 0 fouls. So it's not like she had to sit for foul trouble.
Right? Yeah. It's mind boggling that a player as good as Tilda shot the ball 3 times. So I don't know, but yeah, Carson, like what's your thoughts? Like, is that something that holds any water in terms of could that be of potential help, or are we really just saying what we are who we are and is what it is, and the seasons again, man, I just don't see us winning three games in a row. Getting to an AC championship. We're just we are who we are, and who we are is inconsistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just too top heavy. We're too top heavy.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like Tilda has just been. I mean, when she gets to play, she's really good. But when we don't run anything through her, it's just like, what are we doing?
She's an afterthought. She's
Yeah.
she's truly an afterthought. And Greg, like you had 36 minutes from the bench players in Luna, Cox, and Quigley. You had 4 points from the bench. That like to me that's like Tilda not being involved is definitely a big problem in my opinion. But literally we have like this is by far the least deep team in Westmore's history for sure. Like, because there couldn't be any less depth. There couldn't be any less. It's literally zero. There's zero depth.
Yeah. What Chilton is saying here, I'll be honest, I wasn't able to watch the game yesterday, but saying that they tried to get it into Tilda, but they kept turning it over the entry pass. Just looking at the box score here, 22 turnovers. I can't remember the last time a Westmore coach team had 22 turnovers. Maybe it's happened, but just his teams are usually well coached and well disciplined. 22 turnovers. I mean, that's going to win you. I mean, that's going to lose you pretty much every ball game you play.
Absolutely.
And then you come. Go ahead.
5 players with at least 3.
Yeah, and Camille led the way with 6. Just you can't win a ball game with 22 turnovers. It's just not. It's not possible.
Well, especially against especially against a team led by a Hannah Hidalgo, who, I mean, that's her specialty. As good as she is on offense, she's way better on the defensive side in terms of getting steals. So, yeah, just I don't know.
Yeah, to that
at
point,
this
she
point,
had
I think
6.
6 steals, right, or 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, she had
Sorry.
6 steals. Hidalgo had 6 steals.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's frustrating. You know, I'm not necessarily saying the season's over. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I'm also sitting here saying, listen, like, you know, it's you're getting close now to talking about, okay, what's this team going to be like? You know, when they get to the postseason, and especially now, you're probably looking. I haven't even looked at the ACC standings here, but you're probably looking at probably a 7-8 seed, probably something like that, maybe even lower than that. I haven't even looked at the ACC standings, but so you're gonna have to go on a little bit of a run the ACC tournament. And again, I just have a huge issue with believing that this team can put together 3 performances in back-to-back games to win a game, especially once again, since you are so top heavy. There's no other options that can save you. You know, at the end of the day, if Zoe Brooks, Camille Pierre, and Samaria can't get the job done, then you're sunk. You're sunk. It's truly that simple.
Yeah, so we're sitting 5th right now. We're tied technically
sounds
with
good.
the Heels, but they have the tiebreaker. And
Correct, yeah.
right below us is the Hokies and Cavaliers, who we have the tiebreaker with. We haven't played Syracuse yet, correct? Is that a true statement? I'm trying to remember.
We play them Sunday.
Yeah, so if you beat them, you're now in the top 4 again, because you have
Which is
the
crazy to think
tiebreaker
about.
over them. Yeah. So as
Yeah.
much crap as we're talking, you still have the Blue Devils, which they're undefeated in conference play and probably
Thi-
have come out of
this up-
nowhere from the beginning of the season.
This upcoming week is going to be a lot harder than the week after. We got 2 weeks left in the regular season. This week we play at Duke and then Syracuse at home, and then next week it's Wake and then at Pitt.
Yeah. No, it's so you're looking at, hopefully 3-1, but more likely 2-2. And so
4 conference
where does
games
that
left,
put
right?
you?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that would put you anywhere from 12-6 to 13-5, somewhere in that range.
So if you go 3-1 with the win against Syracuse, you should be top 4.
You should be. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, especially since you are a half game behind, so that should give you the tiebreak over
Correct.
Syracuse. So like
you
said,
you would beat Syracuse, and Duke plays Carolina for the second time
Right.
as well, because they always
Right,
play
so-
at the end of the season.
Yeah, and you hope for a Duke win there.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Is it in Durham? No, it's in Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it's Chapel Hill. Yeah, because I mean, hey, listen, I don't feel bad for Courtney Banghart or UNC at all. The fact that they got 0 free throws. Sorry, I been there, done that. So, exactly. I'll the mini violin. I'll give you the mini violin, Coach Banghart. So, yeah, no, again, just I completely agree. It's tough for sure. And again, because it's tough because we've talked about before, the expectations for any Westmore team are going to be extremely high, but that's a good it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. So, and the same thing can be said for Will Wade, but for different reasons. With Westmore, it's a matter of history and consistency and the program he's built. for Will Wade, it's, the resources that have been, invoked into the men's basketball program. So, two different reasons, but then the expectations are high and fans want to deliver. So, um, all right. So, you know what? It is time to jump on over to some baseball, baby. So, first of all, Greg, I want to hear your experience watching baseball in Puerto Rico, man. So like obviously y'all did some tailgating, how
Yeah.
was it like how did y'all even how did the tailgating even work being in Puerto Rico? Were you still doing a lot of cooking?
No, no cooking, just
No cooking.
some adult beverages. Yeah.
There you go.
We had little
All
adult
right,
beverages
simple.
and charcuterie. So,
There you go. Love it.
yeah,
Simple. All right.
yeah,
That's the simplest Greg the leg tailgate of all time. So,
yeah.
uh, so initial thoughts of the weekend. I mean, because first of all, the question, because I know we talked a little bit about it off air as well, but obviously that third game getting canceled yesterday was frustrating for sure, especially after the first two games that State baseball was able to put together. Um, you know, like, thoughts on, I mean, like, what can you share regarding, you know, why the game didn't happen, but also too, how frustrating was it that the fact that the game wasn't able to be played?
Yeah, so the game yesterday was in Quagus, which is about 45 minutes south here of San Juan. From what I understand, they got a lot of weather about midweek, and then that's a natural grass field, and it was kind of underwater, wasn't playable. So they moved most of the games over back to Ponce, which was further south. And then the team was essentially on travel restriction. They had to get out of town because they had to catch a flight. Um, unlike um, unlike the big time sports, they fly commercial. They don't have charters,
Mhm,
and so
mhm.
they're at the mercy of those flights. And based on the time of the game, and to get back to San Juan, it was going to be too close to be able to play that game. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, they weren't able to get it in.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, so that's, unfortunate for sure. But at the end of the day, I still think you're leaving this weekend feeling extremely excited and confident. Now, obviously, even before the weekend, Greg, you even, predicted as well that, or expected that in-state baseball should go 3-0 for this weekend. So, I get it for sure. The level of play they're going to be playing against as the season goes is going to greatly increase here for sure. But the end of the day, I mean, how dominant you were in those two games was incredible. So now, Carson, I'm interested in your thoughts here a little bit. Would you say that you were more impressed this weekend by the pitching or the batting? And I'll give you a hint. There's no wrong answer.
I think the batting was what impressed me the most, honestly. I mean, coming in, we knew that the pitching was going to be really good.
Hmm.
But I mean, you start your first game against Washington. I mean, they're not really known for baseball, but it's still a power conference team. And you just score 13. You pretty much we made scoring 13 runs look easy.
Hmm.
And then you play Indiana State. And Indiana State, over the past few years, I think they've been a pretty decent program. So to put 10 runs
Hmm.
on them was pretty good as well.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish and hoped that, and it was definitely heading that direction, that second game could have been a shutout too as well. That would have been a sweet little thing. But obviously Indiana State got a couple of runs there late to knock that dream off the board there. But yeah, Greg. So I mean, I think Dalton Bargo was as advertised. Not really much to say there here, but besides Dalton Bargo, that was so widely discussed. Who stood out to you the most from the batting side that you feel like really, from two games is looking better than expected preseason?
Yeah, you got some production from Drew Lamphere. That was kind of a question
Hmm.
mark. Not that he couldn't hit, he just didn't get a lot of opportunity last year with Sosa being here.
Yeah,
So
right.
him going 2 for 4 with an RBI in the opening game, and then I think he got another hit or so in the second game, another RBI or so. So that was a nice. You saw Chris McHugh kind of pick up where he left off with some solid hitting. um, I like what we got from Andrew Wiggins with the home run. And then,
Hmm.
some guys that, Braden Fraser, Braden Fraseman had a nice series. He had a couple hits.
Yeah.
And then Luke Nixon. I mean, when you score, what is it, 23 runs in 2 games, you're going to get a lot of hitting. So I think everyone in the first game, all starters, scored at least 1 run. So that was nice.
Right. Yep.
So, if everyone scores a run, that means you have to get on base. So lots of guys getting on base is a good thing. But yeah, I thought we did some really nice things. I like what we saw from Sherman Johnson on Friday night. He hit the ball pretty well. Did make an error, but that was a tough error. We made a couple error. Well, Mikey Ryan dropped a pretty easy pop up, but I will say that the sun was hell for a lot of folks this weekend.
Yeah.
Wake Forest game, I think they had like 8 dropped flies. Like, it was crazy. The sun was really bright. Do you have the what grinds my gears ready? Can we do one of those? Do we have something? Can we cue that up? Did we lose Leighton? I think we lost Leighton. Oh, Leighton, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Am I back? Yep, I got you. You got me?
Yeah. I was gonna do.
Sorry about
what
that,
grinds
guys.
my
Yep,
gears.
a little bit of. Hey, you got one? Hey, it's been a while.
I do.
Do I even have it ready? I hope I do. Let's do it.
You know what really grinds my gears?
When a baseball player has sunglasses on their hat, but not on their eyes, and then drops a pop-up. That grinds my gears.
Oh, that's a good
Guys,
one.
it's
That's
not a
good
fashion
one.
piece. It's to help your vision.
Yeah.
I'm just
or when guys wear their hats backwards and they're like covering their eyes, and it's like, man, I wish they
I
had
miss
something
the
that could help your
I
eyes
miss
like
the
that.
days of the flip-ups. Like, I don't know, like, I'm old. So we had those flip-ups.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys even know those glasses where you could
Oh yeah.
add like the bridge
Yeah.
and then you could put the sunglasses down. I miss those.
Right.
They seemed to be, I know they weren't like all cute and pretty, but they were effective.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, so we kind of got
Yeah.
away with that on what was that? What day was that? Friday? I think that was Friday.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, great weekend of baseball. Like, and if you're just looking for something to nitpick, again, back to Lanphier, he threw a guy out at second. I thought that was awesome. You saw Chris McHugh for the first time in left field, double off a guy. They got into a bases loaded jam. Marone did, and then we were able to, catch a fly and then throw a guy at home to end an inning. So yeah, some new pieces. I thought everyone meshed really well.
Yeah. Well, and if I can add a little bit of really
You know what really grinds my gears?
is, first of all, I don't really understand the whole Victory Plus thing, why it had to be there. Just put on ESPN Plus like the rest of it. Just keep it simple. Like, what is Victory Plus? What even, like, what else do as well is because I mean, there was a lot of NC State fans I know, like a couple of different times they were saying, I'm not going to pay for Victory Plus because it's something that you think that everything these days is is a new streaming service that you have to pay for. And so I get it for sure. And I think that,
Well, it was free. It was free,
Well,
but you got what you paid for. It was trash.
yeah. Well, it was trash, first of all. But also, secondly, it's I think for a lot of NC State fans had to find out kind of by word of mouth too as well. Like, it wasn't very excessively made clear that it's free. But again, so I don't know. Just for me and the sports fans out there, I'm like, just put on ESPN Plus. Just keep it simple here. Like what are we doing?
Agreed. Yeah, I couldn't get it to work on my iPhone. It crashed on my iPhone every time. And then I couldn't get the video to work on my iPad. And then someone told me, yeah, you had to start it on cellular and then go back to Wi-Fi and then it would work. It was a mess. And for an app that is used by professional teams and that's your product, because they showed the Rangers, the Dallas Stars, the Anaheim Ducks on that thing was trash. I was glad I was there in person or I would have like stroked out.
Yeah. So, kind of talking a little bit about here, what's next. Also too, tomorrow, NC State baseball goes against Winthrop. Obviously Winthrop had an interesting weekend. I can't remember. They beat. I'm trying to find, but they had a good weekend. I can't remember.
Well, while you do that, we'll look it up. We'll look it up. Look it up, and I'll talk about pitching a little bit while you do that, because we talked about the hitting, but we didn't talk about pitching.
Duden.
I mean, Duden was lights out. So for anyone that was wondering why they only went like 4 innings, 5 innings. They were on pitch counts this weekend. They were on 75 pitch counts. So you saw Marone go 85 on Friday, and then they tried to get him. They were trying to get him through 5 to get the win, but then at the end it just didn't matter because it was a shortened game, and then because it was only a 7 innings, he automatically got the win. And then you only saw Duden throw 68, but damn, he was effective. And he only gave up 2 hits, walked nobody. I think he struck out 2. Um, but yeah, it was really good pitching. I would have liked to see Heath throw yesterday, just to
Yeah.
see kind of what we had. But you didn't even use guys like Cooper Consiglio,
Mhm.
Collins Black, Ryder Garino. Some of those new pieces. You saw the freshmen come in on Saturday. Sam Harris gave up a couple, and so Aiden Pitches looked really good, by the way. Like he ended up giving up a 2-run home run, but man, he was throwing some gas. We didn't have radars in the stadium, so we couldn't tell how fast they were throwing. But I thought Kitchens looked really solid for his first outing, and I like that both of those guys got in on Saturday in low pressure situations, so they could just kind of go out and throw and get their first NCAA experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot to be excited about. Anderson Nance came in, and he won 1 1/3 and struck out 2. Now he did walk 2, but he did kind of settle in when he came out for that second inning of appearance. But yeah, just that's 10 years in a row that the state won on the opening game of the season. So that's a
Mhm.
nice little streak we got going on. And then I
Mhm.
know Coach Avent passed somebody for some wins. I don't remember. I remember seeing it yesterday.
Ah,
But
a little bit
yeah,
of history being
so
made.
yeah, a little history. Let me see if I can find
Go.
that real quick. Go ahead and talk about Winthrop real quick while I pull this up.
Yeah, so they won the series this weekend against Georgetown. So solid program for sure. So
Yeah,
definitely in these midweek games have always been a thorn in the side for Elliott Avent. For one reason or another. So just the question here is do you have a prediction on who you see on the mound here tomorrow, Greg? Any clue?
man. I've got I don't have no inside information, by the way, so this is all just pure speculation.
Like
Um,
like Vanderson Nance an inning, even just to kind of give him some action.
I feel like you might see Cooper Consiglio. I feel like Coop
Yeah,
could be your guy. If not, maybe a Luke Hemrick. But if not,
yeah,
I would love to see Luke get in some innings. He's another highly touted guy, and so I was just kind of surprised that they didn't throw him over the weekend. Maybe he would have been a Sunday guy had we played that.
yeah,
So there's still some guys that haven't really seen any action that we expect to be part of the pitching depth. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm get back to the Doak, and we have 18 straight at the Doak starting tomorrow.
It's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, and it kind of goes back with the Clemson coach. Gosh dang it, I can't remember his name, but they were asking him because there's talk about starting the season beginning of March.
Right.
Because you're a Southern team, you get all these Northern teams come down, and so you're eating all your games up early in the season, and so now you go on a lot of road trips, and it's a very imbalanced schedule. Plus, not
Yeah.
to mention, for state, you got women's and men's basketball going on right now, and
Yeah.
there's only so much time. There, uh, on Saturday you got men's basketball competing against baseball,
Mhm.
and you got women's basketball competing against it on Sunday, and,
Yep.
and they're all about the same time. So you would
Right.
like to be able to see people, be able to get out to all these different sports. But
Yep.
just switching back real quick, yeah, Coach Avent passed uh, Jim Morris, not the singer of The
Mhm.
Doors, but former ACC coach, and he is all by himself in 4th place for the most wins as an ACC head coach.
That's incredible. Yeah. No, and huge shout out to Elliot Avon for sure. Deserves every single bit of appreciation recognition he gets. So love to hear that. Congrats to Coach Avon for that. So yeah, no, again, I think really for I'm leaving these 2 games feeling good, but still saying there's still a lot to be seen with this team, just like you said, with the pitching. Um, you know, some more at bats for these guys, on the offensive side. And do we
Still
kind of
battles.
find
There's still battles. I still
that
don't
was
think
yeah.
we're settled at third. Oh, is that what your question was going to be?
Well, that was my exact point was basically like there's going to be some battle with the batting order and the lineup, but you didn't see a ton of that in 2 games, which I mean, it's only 2 games, there's only so much you could really do in 2 games. So it'll be
Yeah, there was
interesting
a
to see
little
like
shifting. Yeah, there
a
was a
little
little
bit,
shifting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
but
still
again,
interested in third, but I'm sorry.
well,
I got probably
well, no,
delayed.
just well, same here. It's all good. But like, but see, the question is, were those shifts because of competition or because of the fact that the game was well in hand? Both games were well in hand. So only time will tell more games in terms of seeing how much shift truly does happen as well. But yeah, exactly. And third base has always been, I think, that position that's been kind of that flex spot for Elliott Avent. That's for the most part, for most years, has always been up in the air, especially in the first half of the season. So
Yeah, like I said, like Sherman Johnson had a nice offensive game Friday night. Did make the one
mhm.
error. Is a really tough play. I don't really think that was a fair error. But then you saw Pfeiffer come out on Saturday and made kind of a similar play. And I mean, do or die play, bang bang, made the play out at first. But I thought Johnson hit a little bit better. So that will be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. I would expect that to play out for the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then I would expect something to be settled into. But it's a fun battle to watch. And by the way, Sherman Johnson, I met his dad on Saturday or Friday night. Cool dude. He had some cool vibe and swag going on. He's all in on the Pac-9. He had a cool fit. So yeah, I'm excited to see what both of those guys are going to do moving forward.